Welcome everyone to another Nerd Moot here on Nerd of the Rings. Keaton, we've got some big news today.
I do?
We do.
Oh, we
have
do.
big
We do
news
have
to
some
talk
news.
about.
Yes. Yes.
So I am really pumped about this. As folks who have watched the channel know, I am a huge audiobook fan.
Yep.
And Andy Serkis just casually dropped in a random red carpet interview that he is recording an audiobook of the Silmarillion.
Woo!
So I'm going to go ahead. I'll play this clip for you guys. This is from a YouTube channel called Flip Your Wig. So I'll post this link in the description if you want to watch this whole interview. It's like 4 minutes, but we'll just play the clip pertaining to the audiobook.
But it's never left me. I mean, I've been since then. I went back obviously and did The Hobbit, and then I've lived with the books because I've read the audiobook of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit as a charity thing for the NHS called Hobbitathon, which we did during the pandemic. But and actually, I'm about to do the Silmarillion. So it's the world of Tolkien has never left me, and I think.
So there you go.
Wow.
Andy Serkis just casually dropped. So it was just an aside there. It's crazy.
I love it. I'm pumped. I loved The Hobbit that he did. I really actually especially love The Hobbit.
Yeah.
But this trilogy is also great. I was listening to his Treebeard today. So
nice. Yeah,
it's quite good.
I was very pumped because we get full dialogue. We now have him saying every line that Gollum ever spoke because he recorded these audiobooks, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really pumped, and it's kind of one of those things where I'm I love the Martin Shaw Silmarillion. I'll always have a soft spot for that because that's how I got through the Silmarillion for the first time, was because of the audiobook. Without it, I don't know that I would have gotten through it. That being said, I also blame Martin Shaw for some of the mispronunciations that I had to overcome, and that I got a lot of flack for over the first few videos on the channel. If you go back, I think in one of my earliest videos, I say Iluvatar because he puts the emphasis on the va.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be great. I'm interested to see how he handles, some of the more verse Tolkien writing as well, with some of the more songs and such too. I'm especially excited to hear some of the Hurin and Turin bits from him. So
now that would be the one that I, as much as I enjoy Martin Shaw's, because he has a very grandiose, I guess you could say, like he sounds like he is the voice of Eru, like decreeing what has come in the history, but even more so, it would be hard for me to set aside Christopher Lee's Children of Hurin. If Andy were to ever do Children of Hurin, I'd totally get it. Like if you look at my Audible, it's nothing but Tolkien books. Like you scroll forever. But yeah, I think it would be I think it's gonna be good. I'm excited to hear him do some of the voices. I love the behind the scenes stuff where he talks about how he does a different point of the microphone. So like if he's Gimli, he's like way down here, and if he's Gandalf, he's up here talking down to people.
It's got to be exhausting. Audiobooks have always sounded extremely tiring to me.
So. Dorwin, thanks for the super chat, my friend. Thanks for all you do. Thank you for watching. So I don't know what else to really say about this, except that I'm super pumped. The other big book that is upcoming and also has an audiobook is The Fall of Númenor, which comes out a week from today. And I'll give you guys a heads up. A week from today, we will have an interview with Mr. Brian Sibley, the editor of The Fall of Númenor. So we'll have that next week for you guys.
I mean, if Brian's touched it, it's going to be something worthwhile.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So. He's a super nice guy. Like if you guys haven't watched it, we talked for, I think it was a little over 3 hours. He was one of the interviews I had in the early days, and we were like, we'll talk for an hour, maybe at most 2, and we went a little over 3 hours because we just kept talking about the 1981 radio drama, which is still my absolute favorite.
Yeah, I need to actually still listen to it, if I'm honest. Not one of the adaptations I've gotten around to.
Oh, dude, it's so fun. It's fun because it's like the entire. I mean, it's like listening to a movie essentially.
Yeah,
you get all the sound effects, and there's parts of it has the scouring of the Shire.
Yeah,
for one thing, which you don't get in any other adaptation. Misty paused the Martin Shaw Silmarillion to watch this live. There you go. Well, yeah, I hope Andy pronounces it Iluvatar instead of Iluvatar. I'm trying to think of the other ones. There was a couple others. Maybe the chat can remind me. I know you got there's a lot of people in the chat who've
I don't know who's keeping tabs on your mispronunciations.
I know. There was a couple that I really struggled with overcoming, and I was like, dang it, Martin Shaw, but your voice is so good, so I forgive you.
I would say it could be some of the some locations.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
Ina Lindley.
I
don't know how he says it in the book. Yeah.
Could be a tongue twister.
Oh, Taniquetil, which is Taniquetil.
Yeah.
Is how you're supposed to say it. That's one I still, because I don't say it very often, so I'll still say Taniquetil instead of Taniquetil.
I know a lot of people have had discourse over Toleracea.
Oh yeah, Toleracea.
But I don't know if that was. I don't know if that Martin took the knife to that one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Man.
But speaking of Andy Serkis, I know we had mentioned. To go off a little to already break this mood up.
We're totally gonna go off on a tangent for Andy Serkis because that dude is bringing it on Andor. That's where you're going, right?
Yeah. I just am a big. I think Andy Serkis is the definition of underrated. And I know he's not underrated in our community, but in the greater Hollywood, acting circles, I'm 100% sure he's underrated.
Yeah.
So it's been really great to see him just do, because he was he was, oh gosh, what's his name in Marvel? Someone in the chat knows.
Oh,
in Black Panther and Age of Ultron.
Ulysses Claw.
Yeah, because he did that, and that's a very character, it's a character type. And then, obviously he's Gollum, then he was Planet of the Apes, Snoke, all that stuff. But it's great to see him just be a person.
Yeah. When he's in the flesh. Yeah.
And he's great.
Because he was also, obviously he was Caesar in the Planet of the Apes movies, which was absolutely great.
Love those.
It's crazy. I kind of feel like I've said this many times, but I feel like there should be a virtual, well, what would you call it? Virtual character or something, like a CG character acting award or something. And they should
like a mocap character. Yeah.
Yes. Mocap character award. And they should name it the Andy Serkis
award.
The guy's incredible.
Yeah, if he's never nominated, he's definitely due for one of those honorary Oscars that you kind of just get for your body of work. I think he should definitely get one of those.
I prefer he get
I prefer it too.
Just straight up get one, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I don't know how much longer we have him in the show. No spoilers. I don't know anything, but just
that's what I said on Twitter. I'm really I'm really rooting for him to not die.
He is the Jed Brophy of the Larger Nerdom.
Yeah,
I'd agree. He it was so weird when he popped up in Andor, because it was he was never announced he was in the show. Yeah, he's already a Star Wars character, and then you're like, wait, what is Andy Serkis doing here? It was awesome. I loved it. He's been great. I thought he was going to be just kind of the loud and angry type, but it's becoming clearer and clearer that the character is a bit more conflicted and layered than that. So It's great.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah. I love the ending. I won't spoil it because
Yeah.
we're not, a Star Wars channel, so I don't want to count on everybody having watched it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the ending I felt for this last episode was spot on, and his character's transition was great.
Yeah.
Caitlin wants to know what the trophy would look like. Would it look like
Gollum.
Gollum for the Andy Serkis Oscar for virtual performance? What?
It's just a golden Gollum. Yeah.
Or it's just a little figure. It's like the regular. I mean, at the end of the day, it would look like a regular Oscar because it's the Oscars. But if we're really playing with it, it would be an Oscar, but covered in like those little
dots.
Yeah,
yeah, that would be funny.
Suit.
That would be funny.
So it's an Oscar, but he's in a mocap suit. Yeah,
that'd be great.
There you go.
I don't know what his career. I need to refresh myself, but I wonder why he hasn't. I'm assuming, but I don't think he's done a lot of video games. I feel like he would be a good video game performer.
Yeah, man.
And like mocap, because they do a lot of mocap and stuff now. Especially like single player.
I'm sure. Games. Yeah, he's more focused on films and stuff. Oh, he's also Alfred in the new Batman movie.
He was great in that.
Yeah,
I take that back. Yeah, he was great in that. I'd say he hadn't played any like regular people. But yeah, he was great in that. I liked the new Batman.
I'm not gonna read out that. Is it the general rule with Quenya pronunciations to have the emphasis on the second syllable? I think so.
I feel like I might have heard that before, but there are people who could answer that instantly.
Manwe? Yeah.
Manwe.
That sounds right. I've never been an expert. I would never call myself I don't call myself an expert in much of anything, but definitely not languages is not my
linguist.
Forte. No, that's why I have people in my DMs that I immediately go to after like an episode of Rings of Power and say like, "Hey, do you know what this Dwarvish says?" Because I have no clue.
Yep.
Let's see here. Sorry, catching up with the chat here.
Oh, yep. I need to pull it up.
It should be Gollum when he gets the ring in Return of the King.
Yeah, I was thinking that kind of like whatever the statue would be holding, and be kind of fitting.
Oh, Keaton, you're 100% mocap.
That's right. I'm an actor.
we can tell because your signal is holding up. That's how we know that it's not.
Yep. Yeah. I did go out and buy the Ethernet that I promised everyone here last week. So, but you can really tell. Yeah, I'm actually being mocapped by Kermit back there. So
nice.
Yep.
Oh, so let's talk about Fall of Númenor. We started talking about Fall of Númenor. We got off on a tangent with we started talking about Andy Serkis again. So Fall of Númenor is a book coming out next Thursday. And for those who don't know, we did a stream on this a while back, but if you aren't familiar, this is a basically what they've done is gathered all of Tolkien's writings about the Second Age and put them into a single book. Because if you were to want to read all about the Second Age, so I'm sure there's plenty of people when Rings of Power was announced that it was going to be Second Age, they're like, oh, I'm going to go read all of this Tolkien Second Age stuff. And it's like, well, do you have the Lord of the Rings? Okay, yeah, I've got that. Yeah, no problem. You got the Silmarillion? Yep, got that. Unfinished Tales. Oh, yeah, I guess I got that. Do you have the history of Middle Earth? There's a lot.
Yeah,
it's spread out all over the place.
Look, the books are an expensive investment. Like I mean, I don't even not even all of history is on Kindle yet, but
right, yeah,
that is a good way to go.
I think it's about half of it is up on Kindle right now.
I forgot what's missing exactly, but it's definitely a good route to go. I'm excited. There's also some great artwork coming out of this book, especially the illustrated edition.
Yeah. Well, I think both editions,
They
there's
have
a
the
deluxe
illustrations?
edition and a regular. They both have the illustrations. And there was actually a preview release today.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull. So like, here's a piece here. It didn't actually say what it was. So I was trying to figure out what this would be from the second age.
You've got what looks like a dragon wing up there.
It does.
There's 2 dragons, actually, I think, maybe. No.
There's a serpent right here.
A serpent right there, and then that's a dragon that looks like it's been slain, perhaps.
Oh,
Looks upside down. I think that's its wing. It's kind of this
War of Wrath, Angban's Ruins.
Yeah, it looks very Angbandy.
All right. I saw a good question brought up. I'm trying to find it so I could actually bring it up on screen. Someone asked if there was anything new in this one aside from illustrations. Presumably from what we've heard, it is there'll be commentary in between by Brian, but I believe all of the actual Tolkien text is previously published.
So we're getting to that point where it's going to be hard to find newly published Tolkien text.
And like so we had shout out to Jake, who just became a member. Thank you, Jake. When I had Carl Hostetter on a while back, you know, he kind of said Nature of Middle Earth was kind of the last significant amount of Tolkien writings to be published. So I'm not really expecting anything in the way of new. I'm honestly just excited about having all of the Second Age in one single volume.
It's gonna be great. I'm excited. It's gonna be very helpful. It's
very so much
well
easier
with the show. Yeah, I would agree.
All right, I've got some more illustrations here, guys. I'm gonna show you. I just got to bring them up one at a time. It's kind of annoying, but all right. So here's another Alan Lee sketch. This, my friends, looks like the War of Wrath because we've got eagles fighting dragons.
Oh yeah.
We've got a little elf archer over here. It's like, what do you do? What are you contributing right here, elf archer? These guys, there's like 6 eagles attacking this one dragon, and this guy's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get him."
It's A for effort.
That's right.
Kind of funny. This is like the inverse imagery that we got in the Rings of Power prologue.
It is kind of similar, isn't it?
But it's just like flipped.
Yeah, it is. Well, and that was a fell beast and a eagle. This is a bunch of eagles and one dragon.
It's the eagles were not being depicted as the winners of that Rings of Power
that particular
intro.
Yeah, that's true. All kidding aside, though, like this art looks awesome. Like there's quite a few from the looks of, like, from the small bit that I saw, it's kind of gives the indication that there's a lot of sketches like this, and then there's a number of full page illustrations as well. Let's see here. What else we got? And someone else in the chat mentioned there is an audiobook as well.
Yep.
If you can't get might have the link to that.
Use your month's Audible credit to score that thing.
I did that earlier today, actually. Because I forgot that there was an audiobook version of it. I haven't seen that promoted nearly as much. So
I mean, you'll miss the artwork, but if you are there, it's good to have even.
Yeah, I ended up ordering both because I like having the physical copies, but I know I tend to listen to audiobooks more than I have time to sit down and read. Or more accurately, I'm less likely to fall asleep while listening to an audiobook as opposed to, if I'm driving in the car listening to the audiobook, chances are I'm not going to fall asleep.
Yeah, there are times where I feel like I focus more with the book better than the audiobook.
Yeah, I could see that too.
It depends. I think
because you have to put in the effort. don't have someone read it to you like a bedtime story.
Yeah. Not always for me.
Oh, here's one. Here's one that's like, it's a simple illustration, but I love it. So this, I'm pretty sure, and again, like the preview didn't have captions describing these, but this to me looks like the island of Númenor being raised from the sea.
Yeah.
Because
I
we
see that
have
in the middle
the
Tarma over
water.
there.
Yeah. Menel Tarma is up here. The water's rolling off the side.
At first, I didn't see the background, believe it or not. So I thought that this tiny little bit right here in the front was the top of
This?
the middle Tarma that was
Oh.
just left in the ocean. Yeah.
No, much
Yeah, that's
bigger.
great. There's another
Yeah.
piece I saw on Twitter of Númenor, you know, the faithful being led to the Temple of
Yes.
Morgoth. That's a
Okay,
really good one if you
yes.
find it.
I will pull that up because I did see that one as well.
That one was good.
Yeah, I forgot to download that one, but yeah, it is.
I just saw it in passing when I was on my phone. Should have saved it, but it was like a picture of the book, though. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha. We can zoom in.
Perfect.
But yeah, this one kind of gave me chills a little bit seeing it.
Yeah, it's great.
So yeah, this is one that Brian Sibley shared on his Facebook page. But yeah, so these are members of the faithful being led into the Temple of Morgoth to be sacrificed.
It's crazy.
To Morgoth.
It's a lot of great stuff. It's super simple, very like you got the sun setting there kind of behind the columns. Quite good. It's very martyr-esque. Very martyr-esque
coming out here. Yeah. Like I love this scale of the temple. Like it just seems massive. I've seen a lot of various illustrations, and like this idea that it's a massive monument to Morgoth is really cool. JJC is finally catching on. He's getting the drift. You guys are nerds. Yep.
How did you know?
I know. What gave us away? Linska, thanks so much for the super chat. Your channel really amplifies my love of Middle Earth, so thank you. Well, thank you, Linska. Thanks for the super chat, and thanks for watching.
Very good.
I'm going to start a poll. I'm curious how many audiobooks we have. Like, how many people prefer audiobooks?
I didn't really, I don't know. I it's very hard for me to get into an audiobook that isn't a little bit dramatized. Like I think the Andy one's a great example of it because each character has a different voice. Even though his doesn't really go much further than that, there are some that we've talked about that like include music, sound effects, but I was always bringing it back to Star Wars. I was listening to Thrawn yesterday, and it's got like the John Williams music in it. It's got explosions. I was wow, it's great.
Those Thrawn ones are good. What I like about them is they don't overdo the music and the sound effects. Like it kind of fades to the background. They do oftentimes have like a kind of a almost white noise, or there's like a hum of the ship or something.
Yeah.
But they're not overbearing with it. So that's where, some of the some of the other audiobooks that are really, really impressive. And like I admire the heck out of them.
Yeah.
But I personally just can't get into them because they have so much music in them, and it feels exhausting to me. Like it's I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, because and it's like you don't like even in a movie or a TV show, you don't want music always there.
Yeah,
I mean, you want it to make sense instead of just always, because music can manipulate your viewing experience or your listening experience. Don't want to have to be told how to feel. So,
Dilly Bar, is there an option for depends on the situation for the poll? No,
See,
You
that's
have
what I'm
to
saying.
choose.
It does
You
depend on the
have to
situation,
choose.
though. It does. I'm not always in the mood.
If you're in control of the situation, what are you going to do? Are you going to listen to an audiobook so you can get other stuff done at the same time? Are you going to read an ebook or read a physical book? Ebooks is getting buried, by the way.
Yeah, ebooks. I wouldn't expect. I mean, a lot of people. I know a lot of people who still use Kindle. That's what what we
Yeah.
mean. But I think audiobooks are definitely. I think people are definitely the first alternative in my head is to go to an audiobook versus the physical book. Even when I'm traveling, I think that's the key. Is if I can't bring the book along, I'm gonna listen to it versus getting it on my phone or something.
Absolutely.
Commutes, yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. They're hour drive to work. I would. What are you gonna do? Listen to music? No.
Clearly not, unless I don't know. I might throw on some music from a guest that I'll be interviewing sometime here in the next couple weeks, Mr. Bear McCreary.
See the alley oop I just threw you there?
I know. How's that for a segue?
Just threw it to you. It's
Man,
awesome.
that was so
Yeah.
professional that we just and then we just talked about it. So yeah, folks, sometime in the next couple weeks, I will be interviewing Bear McCreary here on the channel, and we'll be chatting about his work composing for the Rings of Power, and hopefully I'm gonna get some inside info on maybe what he's got planned for season 2. I really want to ask him if he's started, his planning for themes for Rune.
Oh, I'm sure he has.
Because that could be a really unique area.
Yeah,
like the most unique out of any that we've seen thus far.
Yeah, and I wonder if we've already gotten hints of it with the Mystics music, maybe.
Oh yeah,
tied in there. It would be worth going in retrospect to check that out. I mean, he also God of War is coming out. I think it's being
next week.
It's getting fantastic reviews.
Yeah, I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday of next week.
Yeah,
the 9th.
I'm sure he's also very proud of that. I'm sure it's great.
It's kind of weird. Like I haven't played much God of War. I have like the kind of the revamped, the most recent one that was just called God of War.
Yeah.
I have that one. I've played it a little bit, but not a lot. But I'm really tempted to play this new one because I want to hear all the music. I guess I could just listen to the music, but I also like playing video games.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Mighty Mim, thanks for the super chat. You two rock. Thanks for the
thanks.
awesome content. Well, thank you, Mighty Mim.
Appreciate that. It's starting to get gloomy and cold, so I've been kind of dragging my feet a little bit. So it's nice to hear.
It doesn't even get that cold where you live, though.
I mean, the desert gets cold at night.
That's ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm not one of our.
Call me when you have snow on the ground, Keaton. Get out of here with that.
I know. I'm like, it's windy.
I had to wear a jacket today, guys.
I know.
It's so cold.
Even where I'm originally from, it only snowed once a year. So
yeah,
not snow has not played a huge role in my life. So you're definitely pulling a when we used to walk to school on me.
No, I'm just pulling geography on you and reminding you that it doesn't get that cold where you live.
Oh God.
I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about the present, man. See, Jake knows what I'm talking about. His car was frozen shut this morning. He's got it worse than both of us.
That is pretty rough.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't go to work.
Keaton takes it back, guys. He takes it back.
I'm not trying to step on the toes of our, I guess,
our wintry friends.
Wherever you are.
So here's another illustration from Fallen Númenor. So I think my guess here is that this is in Númenor, and this is the tower where they talk about the eagles having an ear.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. You've got a little bit of elvish looking architecture in that as well.
Yeah, right here in the middle.
From what we've seen, right there in the middle, and kind of the way the I don't know if it's the corners are particularly curved in a
Yeah.
sort of elvish fashion, but yeah, then that
Now-
certainly looks like it.
Now that reminds me a bit of it was pointed out, I can't remember where I heard it, but if you look at some of the wide shots in Rings of Power in Númenor, there you can actually
Yeah.
see them replacing elvish architecture with Númenorian architecture. So it's kind of a representation, just a little background thing, but representing, you know, them further distancing themselves from the elves a bit.
Yeah, I'm certain. I mean, and this is pretty much a prime example of something that I don't think would wouldn't last that transition very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like this. It looks kind of small for an Erie. I don't know how those eagles cramming in there.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know how. Well, it looks like there's a level here. Maybe it's a double-decker Erie.
Yeah, I'm also like not
You know?
entirely sure of the scale. Like, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to tell from a picture. I'm sure they have plenty of room. I'm not trying.
I'm sure
I'm not
they
trying
do.
to step on.
Yes.
The
The Eagles are fine.
just worry.
Just worry about them.
Just worry about them. Yeah.
All right. Gawoon Lucas says, I am all for the books. I just love to relax and just take the time to relax and read.
Yeah, me too.
Very nice.
I think easier said than done, but if you can
Yeah.
do it, go.
The
for
problem
it.
is I get too relaxed. I start
Yeah.
sitting down. You know, I've got 4 kids, so like by the end of the day, I'm pretty beat. And if I crack open a book, I get, you know, like a few pages in, and then all of a sudden I get a little too relaxed, and next thing you know, I'm waking up with the book like on the floor and don't remember.
Yeah.
Or I do that thing.
Yeah.
I do that thing where you reread like the same paragraph
no.
3
Yeah.
times because you're like, wait, you get
I
to the end
didn't-
of the paragraph and then you don't remember what it was.
I've done that with pages.
You're like,
I've done it with pages.
I don't remember anything. Yeah.
Yeah, not good. Miami Catfish. That's cool.
Miami
I don't know.
Catfish.
Made me
Thanks for
kinda
super
laugh.
chat. I like that. That's a fun
Miami Catfish.
Yeah. It's very specific kind of catfish. Probably also doesn't have to worry about the snow. That's another person that doesn't have to worry about the snow down in Miami.
Yeah, down Miami.
All right, we've got another one here. We're just this is like our artwork day.
It's art history.
Yeah. So another
that's-
Alan Lee piece. So these are bears in Numenor.
Right, because
which,
in early, yes. Yeah.
yeah. Do you remember this from Nature of Middle Earth? The
I
stuff
do.
that
It's
we
the
found out about bears.
it's the they used to like the bear perform it was performances.
They would perform.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
the
very
bears would
harkens to the
dance.
Hobbit quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like in Beorn's house where the animals are on their hind legs and serving them food and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
the bears, if you haven't read it in
It's an essential pickup, yeah.
Jonathan says Numenor has no bears, Numenor needs no bears. What? Come on. Of course they need what's not to love about bears? Dwight Schrute would freak out on you right now. But yeah, they would put on a performance. This is like in one of, you know, Tolkien's random notes. One of the ideas he had was they would put on a performance, and if the people did not, you know, act appreciative, if they, you know, made fun of them or anything, the bears could get a little nasty, apparently. So yeah, you guys should Google the dancing bears of Numenor. It's a thing.
I don't know what it was about. It seems like bears and birds are big picks for Tolkien in terms of helpful animals, or not helpful, but you know, I don't know. I mean, I guess you got like Huon, but like in terms of I don't know, this kind of seems like the most C.S. Lewis he gets, I guess.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
You know, I'm trying to think of, because the eagles to me aren't really animals. That's not just how I view them.
Eagles aren't animals.
They are animals, but they're not like I mean, they definitely always seem to have a higher purpose than just you know, dancing around, serving tea,
serving Serving, yeah.
So it's very interesting to see it because
It's
it
so
doesn't look like they're dancing.
stereotypical of you to say that the bears would serve honey.
It's not. They're not. Okay, there's bees at Beorn's house.
Yeah, that's true. No.
Bears only eat honey. That's good. That's gonna be taken so out of context, and I'm gonna suffer wrath for that. The eagles aren't really animals.
So the other thing I was going to bring up, so there's been a couple articles, and I don't stay the most up to date on articles now that season 1 of Rings of Power is over. But there was a couple that caught my attention where they were talking about the future seasons of the show. So there's some quotes that kind of indicate that the people producing the show are taking in reactions from fans into account, and some that say they're kind of not. And I would imagine it's kind of in between. But so one quote from JD Payne says, certainly you look at audience response and you see what characters people love and what kinds of storytelling moves them. I wouldn't say we're overcorrecting for any of it, but we're certainly listening to people's responses. So there's that.
There is
and
that.
And then another one, I've got a couple quotes here, so I'll just go ahead and read them all off. And then I think this was more Payne again. In terms of how it's impacted season 2, we wrote most of season 2 before season 1 came out. We're refining the last bits of it now as we're starting to shoot, but really the cake was kind of baked before the audience response came in. Then the last one says, in some ways, the audience response, we're a year ahead of that because we saw it a year ago and we were like, hey, it's really seeming to work. Oh, here it's really seeming to work. And here it's maybe not working as well as we might have hoped or thought it would.
Yeah.
So to the extent there's a course correction, it's just us building on the strengths of the show and on the strengths of our actors and our designers.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to take that. Like I at the end of the day, I'm like, so are they, it sounds like they might be tweaking based on
I mean,
feedback,
you would think,
but
I don't know if I dare say you would hope, but you would think.
Yeah.
It's so I find a lot of difficulty talking about the show because it's hard to deal with these things on a weekly basis. It's very risky to set your audience up to wait each week for answers and character development, especially when it's so beloved. So if they did want to take a risk, not to say they already haven't taken some risk, but if they wanted to take a risk, you have to deal with a week's worth of backlash for it, or even longer.
Are you talking like in an episode? Like when
it's just why I think what I think is maybe difficult about Tolkien in a episodic format instead of a weekly episodic format instead of all at once. I wonder if certain critiques about the pacing and other things would have made more sense if someone could sit down and watch it all at once. I don't know. I hope they're listening to fans.
I've heard folks say that about the like binging it helping with the pacing a bit. I don't know. It's hard. I don't know. Like I'm still kind of doing my rewatch, and I don't know that it solves everything. It doesn't solve everything. Spoiler alert. But like I could see, because it does feel like at times you're getting strung along, in some of these shows that lean so heavily on like the mystery, like who is Sauron was like a huge thing that was kind of annoying the bejesus out of me, honestly.
The marketing for it was just, marketing campaign was very interesting for it.
That's a very generous word. It was kind of all over the place, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say about that.
I think the one, oh gosh, what did I called it, like the Twilight ad or something like that, where it was very heavily implied that there was like the romance between Galadriel and Halbrand, and I about lost my mind. And
that
I was
rough.
like,
it was rough.
and like it wasn't like that in the show. Like because they really played on that moment where he hands over the dagger and like pulls her in close, and it's like, oh well, he's trying to secretly hand over a dagger. It's not like, it's like, hey baby, you want this dagger? Like like they made it seem in the promo piece. But anyway.
Oh my god.
All right. Jiwoon Lucas says, still hope that we see more of Isildur and Elendil. Yeah, I did say, like, my favorite moment in the finale was like one of the briefest moments, and it was Elendil talking about making sure the cost of being among the faithful was worth it in the end.
Yeah, it was great. What was not great was Isildur not being shown.
Oh, at the end, yeah. But I mean, it's funny because it's not even a consider. Like, I don't know. I'm sure there's some people out there who don't know that Isildur is fine, but
yeah,
like he's not even going to be scarred, because like that would be a pretty important thing if he had like a massive scar across his face. But he'll be dandy.
He's getting horse evac.
I think he might have fallen into one of the tunnels below or something. That's how he got out of that burning house. But yeah, he's totally getting a horse evac, the Aragorn style from Two Towers.
Yep. Say what you will. There was also that comment that they made about like the canon storyline in season 2 that they were going to be featuring. I mean, the specific quote, like I think
like people who are here for the canon stuff will be satisfied by season 2 kind of thing, or like will be
exactly.
Yeah, like what you were hoping to see in season 1 will be coming in season 2.
It's just weird because it's like, am I being rewarded for sticking around? Am I being
right?
Like, what is? I'm glad, but at the same time,
it's like I wanted, but I still wanted it in season 1.
Yeah, I don't know. And I know they've talked about, I don't know. It's like
Gondor says, but what if Isildur isn't fine?
Who knows?
Then I don't know. Like,
I mean, oh well. I don't know. He'll be fine. I mean, he's kind of stuck, but he'll be fine.
Yeah. No, he's getting stuck. Horse evac. Yeah.
He's just stuck on a different continent.
Unfortunately, he's all his horse is not a seahorse, so I don't know how he's getting back to Númenor, but
he's stuck in Middle Earth.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess,
Miami Catfish. I find audiobooks best when the story is long or relies on bespoke dialogue. Oh, that's good. Bespoke dialogue. I like that. By the way,
oh my gosh, everyone lives with snow now. I get it.
My CV handle as a kid in Florida. I live with snow in Canada.
I know everyone deals with snow. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't tell you.
Keaton's never even seen snow, guys. He doesn't have any clue.
No, I need to post
nothing.
I'm gonna cry the first time I see snow.
X Jose X, thanks for the super chat. Unless is it X Jose 10 maybe, or 10 Jose X.
10 Jose,
or 10 Jose 10. Anyway, thank you.
And he donated $10.
And oh yeah,
look at that.
All kinds of we've got all kinds of theories on this name. An hour of wolves and shattered shields when the age of men comes crashing down, but it is not this day. This day we fight. By all you hold dear on this good earth, I bid you stand, men of the West.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
That'll get you to the end of the week.
I thought we were building up to a question or something. I feel like I should read that in Gollum voice maybe to like really make sure Jose gets his money worth here.
We will take commissions for Gollum voice.
For Gollum voices. An hour of wolves and shattered shields when the age of men comes crashing down, but it is not this day. This day we fight. By all you hold dear on this good earth, I bid you stand, men of the West.
Bravo. It's where
There
we
you
are.
go.
It's where we're already at tonight. Huh?
We went downhill fast, guys.
46 minutes in. And we're at
46
Gollum voice.
minutes. We're at
We're at
Gollum voice.
Gollum voice. That's great. We'll take more. Send more. Send more. We'll
Oh
pay
my
for Gollum
gosh.
voice.
Yeah, there we go. That'll pay for my
Yeah.
my throat surgery years down the road from doing all the Gollum voice. Oh, here's an interesting. Okay, so what do you think about this here? I feel like season 2 of Rings of Power should be a prequel to season 1 where the other rings get made. So I've got thoughts on this, but I'm gonna let you go first.
Well,
Unless you want me to go first.
either way, I mean, I think there's a lot of great prequel opportunity in season 2 for sure, specifically with Sauron, sort of the Halbrand situation. But I mean, we have yet to answer the other rings. No.
Yeah, we haven't seen those.
So I
The
don't know if
9
they'd
and
be.
the
I don't
9
know
and the
if
7.
don't know if
Yeah.
those would be made.
I don't think so. Like,
just
so
yet.
here's my thing. Like, I can't imagine that they have made those yet. That
Yeah,
they
I
would
mean,
have made those and not shown anything of that.
right.
It obviously doesn't line up with the books.
Yeah, I would say that would be the correct order if they'd already
those
made
are
them.
because the 9 and the 16 are like leading up to the
Exactly.
three, like
Yeah.
the 3 greatest rings. So where I struggle with it, and I actually mentioned this, I have a theory video coming out tomorrow, guys, a Rings of Power theory that was my interest was sparked on a couple weekends ago. But yeah, I struggled to figure out what the motivation is going to be for Celebrimbor to want to create more Rings of Power. Like, if they've fixed the issue that the show has presented
With the mithril, yeah.
with the mithril emitting Rings of Power or whatever technologies at
Rings
play
of
there,
mithril power.
the
rings.
mithril-chlorian rings that we've got.
Mithril. Oh god. Yeah.
So like why make more if they've solved the problem? Why make more? And like, because the 7 and the 9 aren't going to be greater than the 3.
It seems like that he has to come back as the Anatar form that we all
definitely
know and love, I'll say. Thank you,
Jose.
You about to know one. Because there's no way that Celebrimbor, I don't think, would let Halbrand form back in. I don't think.
No.
And plus, he's got to go talk to the. I mean, we got to see more of what's going on in Khazad-dûm. We don't really have our men contenders yet, I don't think. At least they're not been made clear. I mean, there's a few, I think. I think Theo and maybe Farazan's son, number 1, could get a ring, potentially. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ground to cover if the War of Elves and Sauron happens in season 2. We're kind of spiraling quickly.
And we don't. I feel like we don't have enough with Celebrimbor to make the War of the Elves and Sauron hit with any kind of real emotional depth. Chris says that was good. Ask Andy to do that. I have seen Andy read like tweets and stuff as Gollum and other random things. That's funny stuff. Sean McHugh, thanks for super chat. Thank you also, Chris, the last one I read there. I just hope season 2 Harfoots make it to Durndingle so I can watch them eat Durndingleberries. Wow.
Oh god.
Oh man.
That's clearly a season 3 arc.
Yeah. Oh, so the Warner Brothers CEO news. So yeah. Did you hear about this?
I did.
So the Warner Brothers CEO mentioned Lord of the Rings among other things, including Harry Potter and what was the other? Was it just
Um,
DC? Was that it?
Yeah, because I know a lot's going on with DC right now. And I
Yeah,
don't
he's
recall.
okay. He said we haven't had a Superman movie in 10 years. We haven't done a Harry
Yeah.
Potter in 15 years.
Well, let's slow down.
Yeah, which I mean, I honestly like. I mean, I'm okay with throwing a little shade toward Fantastic Beasts because they're
That's
not
what I was
my
saying.
favorite.
Like, I don't know if we want more of that.
Like, yeah. It's like,
I actually like the first one,
yeah, the first one's not bad.
but
The second one is just
as with
a
all good things, it gets
mess.
worse as it goes.
Oh my goodness, that movie is a mess. It makes no sense.
I actually never saw 2 or 3. I just didn't.
Really, you should watch 2 just and just be in awe of it.
Like, I liked 1,
it's-
and then it just didn't grab me enough.
Yeah. But yeah, people are making fun of his math because he said I don't know when the last Superman movie came out, but
I thought it was. I mean, it was Man of Steel.
yeah.
Unless you count Batman versus Superman,
Which I don't know. That seems more like a team up movie, honestly.
it is. I mean, at the very end, it's
Yeah.
just.
Yeah. But yeah, so he says we still have rights to do Lord of the Rings movies in here. Is his quote. And I had been told by folks that War of the Rohirrim was the last one.
That's what I thought as well.
That a new contract would have to be negotiated, but like he flat out says we still have the rights to do Lord of the Rings movies.
I mean, they could start one right now at the same time while they still have, like in theory.
So according to like what and this is just
Sure.
I don't know how true it is, but
Sure.
according to some that have told me stuff, I don't know. I don't know how good of authority it is, but that War of the Rohirrim would be the last one, and then like because it's like limited on a number of films or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I'm reading and talking at the same time is always a good combination. But yeah, according to this, I mean, obviously his years were off, so maybe he's off on this too and doesn't realize that they can't do more. But if it turns out to be true that they can indeed pump out more, we might get. I'm still pulling for that Angmar War movie.
Yeah, I want it too. Villain. I want it too. Oh, okay, guys. Look, Man of Steel was 2013. What are you talking about?
Because he said we haven't had Superman movie in 10 years. So, so yeah, that's close to 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're considering Batman v Superman. I mean, sure, yeah. But 2013. I mean, that's not far off.
That's not too off. And Harry Potter was when was Deathly Hallows Part 2?
2011.
So that's 11 years. So he was off by quite a bit on that.
Yeah, you can clown him for that, chat.
Yeah. Jeez.
Harry Potter. That's interesting. Does that mean a Harry Potter centric story, or does that mean the Harry Potter universe?
So
Daniel Radcliffe's not coming back.
He's not?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's one of those roles that
like he's having so much fun doing whatever the heck he wants.
Probably
that like he's not going to go back to it. Yeah, I could see that.
To be fair, I haven't seen their reunion that they did, so I don't really know his feelings about it. But I feel like it would be hard. I think it would be hard to return to something that you are just now getting over, only being being recognized only for that.
Yeah, I think so. Some folks have hypothesized that they're going to make a Harry Potter series, like an HBO Max series, and like remake it basically
for Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I mean that's definitely possible. It's kind of what they're doing for Percy Jackson,
right? Yeah, but Percy Jackson, they only made 2 movies, and then they kind of petered out. Like that makes a little more sense. Like same thing with was it Aragon, the Aragon series, like that.
Oh, the movie. Yeah, they only made 1 movie of that.
Yeah, they only made 1 movie of that. So like, so it kind of makes more sense with those. Whereas Harry Potter, you got quality movies throughout the entire series. So remaking it's almost to the point of remaking the Lord of the Rings. Like,
Yeah,
why do it? You
and
know, when
they did it really well the
kind of
first time.
yeah, it's kind of a no-win proposition almost.
There's like a couple. I mean, like the Goblet of Fire is one where the book is extremely different, and it's because it's so long.
It is. Yeah.
So
a series would be nice. In
that
that
would be
respect.
nice, like a season per book.
Mhm.
And I mean,
I
yeah.
actually think too that the Harry Potter books, having, you know, I'm also a big fan of the audiobooks of those. I feel like they're structured well where they could make good series because there's mysteries that develop throughout. Like each book is a mystery story. I've said this before. You know, every book of the Harry Potter series is a mystery story.
Yep.
And along the way, there's smaller mysteries that get solved or like clues that drop and stuff. So I feel like there'd be interest in order to like hold you know, you could hold interest fairly easily with the stories from episode to episode.
Definitely.
It's one of the few Harry Potter is one of the few, and I know we're getting off on a tangent. We'll circle back to Tolkien here shortly, but we're going off on a fun tangent here.
Yeah.
It's one of the few franchises that I actually think a sequel wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Well, you already got one. How'd that turn out?
No, that's a prequel. Those are prequels.
No, not the Cursed Child.
Oh, the Cursed Child. No, that doesn't count.
So you're just you're revising history.
Goodness.
Yeah, right.
Like, because J.K. Rowling didn't even write that. It was the other guy with like her permission, and I don't.
Right.
I will say, like, I saw it when I was in New York, and the magic that they pull off on stage is amazing. Like, it is an amazing show, but the story is so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, I remember I was like the second person to get a copy when it released at the bookstore. Like I went to the midnight or whatever release of the book. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure that I haven't seen the stage adaptation. I'm sure it's great, and I know it won. I think it won a couple of Tonys. But probably could be a better sequel.
Yeah. I don't like the morbid part of my brain says like, oh, what if in the immediate aftermath of Voldemort's defeat, Harry and Ron as Dark Wizard hunters, they go hunting down all the Death Eaters like Tombstone style, if you remember that.
Oh yeah,
classic Western.
Yeah,
like, could get kind of dark.
You could kind of get some like a new Shadow
vibes.
Yeah, you could. I mean, like you get like a gritty thriller, gritty Harry Potter thriller set after.
Maybe. I don't know. I just feel like that's one of the few, like, because they just got out of high school basically at the end of that story. Like there could be more adventures that don't involve like time turners. That's all I'm saying.
The time turner was a one-time thing. Okay. That's like, we should keep it to that. I mean, instead of the Cursed Child.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ji-Woon Lucas.
I want more Gollum voice. And I want to see more flashbacks about Elros. I would love to see Elros in his ears.
Yeah.
It would be great.
That was actually, I thought that is one of the big shames of having Galadriel be the one go to Númenor.
Yeah.
It was a missed opportunity to have Elrond go there. I feel like there could have been some more poignant, more impactful moments, being that it is the realm that his brother founded.
Yep.
And seeing a giant statue of his dad and probably statues of his brother. And
I think Elwing was on the Arendelle statue too.
Yep.
Bird perched.
And so like, as I've watched this show, I've had moments where I'm like, oh, how cool would it be if this was the case,
Right.
So I'll give you, I don't know if I'm actually going to do a video on how I would have done season 1, because I don't know if I want to go in, if I want to go through all that. Yeah. It's like a can of worms that I'm opening. But one of the thoughts I had was like, would it be, and I'm posing the question, would it be more impactful if Elrond was the one who sees Tar Palantir on his deathbed, and it's the same deathbed that he witnessed his brother's death on.
I think that's the case for a lot of the things, like you were saying, that happen.
Like a lot of the things in Númenor.
Yeah.
Like you could tie them to events directly to the Elrond witnessed or the Elrond at least knew about.
Because not only do you have, like, not only, spoiler alert, not only are we going to see the fall of Númenor through, characters that we already love, Love's Eyes, like Elendil, etc., because that's going to be a very impactful point of view, I'm sure, especially with how they've stated Isildur's mother died, etc. I'm sure that's going to be very impactful. But like you're saying,
I'm going to specify I see people in the chat freaking out about it. I don't mean literally the same bed. I mean, it's like the same chamber. It's the king's.
They haven't changed the
chamber.
sheets.
Yes, they
haven't changed the sheets.
Guys.
That's
all right. Proceed.
I think, like you're saying, I think if Elrond was the one to have gone, and then when Númenor falls, I think you get a very, that's heavy, right? I mean, it's like, look what they did to my brother's kingdom.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I actually totally agree. I think because if anything, you could have had Galadriel interacting a bit more with Khazad-dûm, because she was said to have been friendly with those dwarves. So you almost could have had her as like a Lady of Eregion a little bit.
Yeah. And it's interesting because we're told that Celeborn, when Galadriel goes to Eregion,
right,
Celeborn doesn't go because
it's too
because he doesn't like the dwarves. Like, he doesn't go with his wife and kid. He stays in Eregion because he doesn't like the dwarves, which is understandable. He's from Doriath, and Doriath has some history with the dwarves there. But yeah, I think I think it could have been pretty impactful.
Who's to say
if Elrond would have been the one? But that's part of the fun. I feel like theorizing and stuff like this is fun. Like saying, these what if scenarios. 100%. Jonathan, thanks for a super chat. Hey, what do you think about the idea of Halbrand returning to Númenor, causing the fall, getting destroyed, and then Sauron appearing as Anatar later?
I don't. Well, I mean, no one in Númenor right this second knows that Halbrand is Sauron. But I mean, we know he's going to get back to Númenor at some point. I just don't know if it's before the Anatar bit. Getting destroyed. Do you think he would come back as Anatar after Númenor falls?
So
that's late.
If we're going, if we're going by the books, then in the fall of Númenor, he gets destroyed, and then he's not able to take on a fair form anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he's, nice big old rage monster Sauron from that point on.
Yep.
I just feel like that would be way out of order. Like, I don't know why. I don't know.
Maybe never say never, but not how I would.
But I don't like it.
But I don't like it.
So no, I vote no. If that's
it's a vote.
You're taking a vote.
It's a no from me as well. But useful thinking. Yes.
The pod ones.
Yeah. Here to harass me further.
I see. We'll do the Martin Shaw pronunciation. Ilúvatar has graced Keaton with fast internet. Miracles do happen.
They do. I just decided to get better. That was all.
Oh, this is an interesting thought. Sabramsky says Harry Potter should be animated, like my idea for Lord of the Rings. That would be an interesting one.
Be cool. I don't think to my knowledge, I'm not as versed. I don't think there's really been any like cool animated Harry Potter stuff. So that'd be kind of cool.
No,
besides the bit in Deathly Hallows, part 1,
which was cool. I really like that portion.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Chris Cardona, thanks for the super chat. Audiobooks helped me get through the Silmarillion. Same here, man. It helped me pass the time when I drove during my move. Plus, I kept thinking back to Morgoth video series as I was listening to it. Very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah,
Very
man.
good.
Morgoth is his story is kind of the story of, you know, everything before the Second Age, basically.
So good, it just couldn't be one video.
That's right. It's 3 videos. It's big.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very curious about this this Warner Brothers thing that they would name, you know, he names a lot of stuff here. They also name Sex in the City. Yeah.
I mean, who
And
knows?
yeah, Harry Potter. They do mention House of the Dragon as being, you know, one where they've taken advantage of the Game of Thrones property.
Yep.
It sounds like it's a pretty done deal. We're getting more Superman stuff though out of this.
Definitely.
Between the news about Henry Cavill, you know, he's gotten freed up from The Witcher, which is crazy. That's another show that I like don't know the deeper lore, but I enjoy the show. And yeah, him stepping aside feels like a huge loss for that show.
I think it definitely is, especially with the reports of his creative differences. It's really since the inception of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Conception of the show.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever really blended well with their vision. But I think he's probably in the right, being such a book fan himself.
Yeah. Dude, I love yeah, so someone was asking if they canceled The Witcher. No, they actually replaced well, Henry Cavill is leaving, and Liam Hemsworth. So not Thor, but the other one.
Yeah, he's been in Hunger Games.
Yes, he was in the Hunger Games. Is taking over. But I gotta say, every time that Henry Cavill talks about nerd stuff, I absolutely eat it up.
It's
Like,
great.
I love it. Like, and the guy, like hearing him talk about the way, like the responsibility he feels to fans when he plays Superman, or you know, when he's the Witcher. Like it's so admirable, and I absolutely love it. Like how much he cares. And I wish that like everybody in the industry was like that.
He's a big old nerd.
Yeah.
Especially about like World of Warcraft, and
It's Warhammer is his big thing.
Yeah, I think he also plays World of Warcraft though too. Because
does he? Okay.
I think when he got the role of Superman, he tells the story that he didn't answer the phone because he was playing World of Warcraft.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah,
yeah.
I did
but yeah, I mean the Warhammer too. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
So he will be back. Yeah. So not to confuse people. Sorry, we're going off on all kinds of other fantasy tangents here, but yeah, Cavill is doing season 3, which I think comes out beginning of next year or summer or something.
Yeah, they probably
like
already.
I think they're already wrapped filming. But yeah, it's for season 4, so the next season after the one that's upcoming.
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I haven't really gotten into. I've watched some of The Witcher, but it seems like quite a big blow to the series.
Absolutely. But hey, if you're a Superman fan,
it's a great news.
He's got more time for Superman now. The Topic Podcast Network. Hey, legends, the Lord of the Rings podcast here. Love this stream. Thank you so much. Did you check out our conversation with Britty Sisson? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. AKA the Dweller. Be well. I have not actually.
I neither, but I would like to. So
yeah, thanks for letting us know about it. Yeah, there's a lot of people that like at the very beginning when that character was revealed at the Comic-Con trailer was like, oh, it's Anatar. And like I threw out the possibility because like in my breakdown, because there's so many people talking about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess it could be, but at that point I was like, I don't know why they'd reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why they'd reveal. And plus, you know, it's kind of like what Frodo says. They would look fair and feel fouler or something.
The Strider comparison.
Yeah. Peter asks, how long ago did you stop guessing words Gollum would mispronounce? I don't even know what that means.
Well, answer.
Well, yeah. So I'm that's what, well, I wanted to bring it up so that he would, so that
How long
Peter-
ago did you start
Peter-
guessing?
Oh, well, I
Um,
mean, I don't know. Like guessing words Gollum would mispronounce. So like, like how he says like eggses and stuff like that. I don't know.
Oh, is that what it means?
I don't know if that's what it means. Maybe it is. Dale's tuning in from Japan. That's awesome. First time
Wow.
catching it live. Thanks so much, Dale. Thanks for tuning in. All right. So we had some good theories going there on, on Rings of Power, and then we got
did.
sidetracked.
It came in the
Um,
Rings of Power always seems to trickle into the conversation.
Yeah, it always does. Yeah. We never it's one of those like, well, we did have the one topic tonight, but
That's true.
but yeah, it just kind of comes in every stream. Cool Sean, thanks for the super chat. First age lore chin scratcher. Why didn't Tuor do Earendil's job? Did he not get to Valinor first? Did it get awkward when Earendil showed up? That's a tricky one.
Go for it.
I don't know. I don't know why he didn't.
It's because Arendelle has a cooler name.
Because it fits in the poem better.
Yeah,
But-
I'm on.
yeah, I'm trying to think. Let's see here. So when would he? So he sailed west in 525, and Earendil sailed west when? Trying to find the year that he.
Let me look too. Because I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, Tuor. Katie says Tuor isn't the hope that was unlooked for. There you go.
Need I say any more?
Airbus is coming from New Zealand. Yeah, I don't know. You would think that Tuor would mention it, you know? It'd be
Yeah.
kind of handy. It'd be handy if he did, but sorry, I'm just trying to find the year that I'm trying to find the, the difference in
start.
year. So
I
it does
googled
say
that really weird.
it does say that there's some conversation about Tuor. It does say that Tuor was the only among mortal men that was counted among the Eldar. So
Tolkien Gateway is telling me that Tuor and Idril departed in 525, and Arendil
That's what
began
I
his
said.
voyages, in 534.
So it's not that big of a time difference.
Yeah.
So why?
So
Yeah.
the ship would have been, his ship would have been built in between those 2 years. Ish.
Katie's like spamming the chat right now with all kinds of stuff. He probably knew the ban and didn't want to send his son. Whoa. Earendil was the meeting of the three kindreds, not Tuor. Okay.
I get foggy on these first age moments sometimes, so it's nice to bring them up every now and then because I been more of a second age fellow myself.
Yeah. Ben wants to know, which story or characters from Middle Earth would you like to have a series on?
Don't make me say it. It's always the Angmar one for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, it always is. Yeah. Angmar would be great. That's a lot of really interesting infighting and supernatural, and it's definitely a lot of potential there. I wouldn't mind. I don't know. Bay Ornings could be cool. No one ever talks about that. No one ever wants to see more of the Bay Ornings.
But there's not much really written about them. So again, you'd get into like
Rings of
making
Power
up stuff.
territory.
Yeah, you get into making up stuff territory, which is dicey
Yeah.
waters, you know.
And the Amor War is actually pretty well documented, those events. So
Sauron said, so I agree that Angmar
yeah,
is probably my top of like third age material,
yeah.
you know, to be adapted. Sauron says Glorfindel. So if Glorfindel was if you're telling the story of the fall of Gondolin, I usually don't mention Silmarillion stuff because the rights aren't out there. So it's like not even on the table right now for people to do that.
Yep.
But yeah, obviously pretty much anything from the Silmarillion would be amazing to have.
No, I agree. I think that's a Fall of Gondolin would be extremely visually stunning too.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you could kind of set up a Glorfindel story from there, even more so.
And then ignore the fact that he gets sent back later because he's not in the movies.
Yeah, but just forget about that. A lot of people think he is in the movie. He just doesn't do anything because there's that elf at Aragorn and Arwen's wedding, and his coronation.
Yeah.
That
like
looks
behind Elrond. Yeah,
it's a very mighty looking elf.
Yes.
He's also blonde, and so a lot of people think that it's headcanon for Glorfindel, but
okay,
it's like, what were you doing the whole time, man? You're
Right?
just kicking your feet up.
Yeah.
Not sure.
But yeah, him sacrificing himself to defeat a Balrog would be pretty awesome and save Eärendil. Children of Hurin is always up there for me. Like the Game of Thrones people would love Children of Hurin, I think.
They would. I would like a oh god. I know. I would like a Baron and Luthien animated story. I think that'd be great.
Animated.
I think an anime format would be really great, especially you could get really creative with when she dances in front of Morgoth. You could kind of do some cool art style stuff there. I think it'd be really nice. Yeah,
Haleth.
Extended
Limit says Haleth. Yeah. Haleth is pretty BA.
BA.
Yeah. Jake says if anyone deserves to kick their feet up during the War of the Ring, it would be Glorfindel.
Man, like I agree. I mean, he did a lot. He's done a lot, especially after the flight to the Ford.
Yeah.
But
don't think the estate will ever give up the rights to Silmarillion. I would love it, but I don't think it would happen. I mean, at one point, I never thought that a series would be made.
It's hard to say.
Rights,
it's hard to say
the rights that Amazon purchased would ever be sold, but yeah,
it's hard to know.
It's hard to say. I feel like there might be more on the horizon, and this is like I have no inside information whatsoever, but just the fact that we even got a second age show kind of gives me hope that there might eventually be some films or series made of the Silmarillion. I think it would be cool. Like it's worth a shot. Like I always say, like you can't have amazing adaptations if there's no adaptations being made. So, if there's adaptations that come out that are lackluster that I don't, care for, then I just don't rewatch and move on. Yeah, the source material is always where the true story is gonna live.
You can always go back to the
like
books.
if there's the chance, like I'm a Cubs fan. I'm a Chicago Cubs fan from birth. So like
a lot of disappointment.
So like I am an eternal optimist, and like holding out hope is like part of my DNA at this point.
That's so
growing
funny.
up as a Chicago Cubs fan, and it is permeated into every part of me. So yeah, so I'm totally up for other adaptations because there's always the hope that lightning might strike a second time and we'll get another epic trilogy or something amazing. You never know.
Yeah, I agree. I think War of the Rohirrim might be
War of the Rohirrim might be awesome.
it might be awesome, and it might be a good indicator of what's to come, what kind of stories we should expect.
I
Especially if it
really like
performs
that it's a
well.
one-off. You know,
I
it's
do
kind of
too.
yeah, that it's not like this big. It doesn't have to like tie into this epic, huge story. It can like the stakes can just be the survival of the
Yep.
people of Rohan. Like that's enough, you know?
I'm very excited to see how the anime style, especially for the combat, I'm very excited to see kind of how that goes. I think someone like Huron would benefit really well from anime
Yeah.
type of fighting style. You know,
Yeah, as he's
that
as he's
axe.
slaying like dozens of orcs and trolls
Exactly.
might come off a little better in anime.
I would agree. Agreed.
All right, guys. Well, let's go for another 5 minutes or so here, and then we'll call it a night for tonight. So if you were, let's go back to this Warner Brothers thing, because I've often said that I actually like the fact that film rights lie with Warner Brothers and series now lies with Amazon, because I think two different studios having these rights, like if they're both producing things, that is, it breeds like this competition, right?
Healthy
And
competition, yeah.
yeah, like I feel like it's a good competition to have, because you know, in my mind, if I'm in charge of one of these two studios, then I want to be producing the best
Sure.
Lord of the Rings content. Like I want to win, you know?
Yeah.
So it kind of like forces them to, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to think of a good phrase. The one that came to mind was sleep with one eye open, but I don't think that's right. But like look over their shoulder, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, one of those
Yeah.
phrases that people say in life. Yeah, I just think that, you know, if you've got one company making films in Middle Earth and you've got another one making series, that competition could, you know, push for some for better content than perhaps if it was all within one studio. You know, because like look at the way, you know, Star Wars right now. Like we haven't had a movie in ages.
It's
It feels
true.
like with Star Wars, and you know, if Star Wars had film rights with one and series rights with another, like this situation, you know, they'd be competing like crazy.
Yeah, it's hard too. I almost feel like it's kind of what I was talking about earlier about Tolkien and weekly episodic delivery. I think I'd be really scared if I knew movies were coming. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'd be really nervous if I was on the Rings of Power team and I knew War of the Rohirrim was coming out, because it's also a prequel.
Yeah.
And it's got a set amount of time to tell its whole story. It doesn't have to, you know, wait however long for payoff or any of that. It's gonna leave like it's a 50-50. Like it's gonna make people really, really happy and feel awesome, or it's gonna be like a dud.
Yeah.
I know that art is subjective and you can get whatever. Like you can kind of like it and kind of not. But
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of if was it a successful adaptation, we won't really know that for another minute until Rings of Power. And War of the Rohirrim, you're gonna know when you know,
right,
get home and mull it over a bit.
Yeah, I do like that. I do kind of, I've said this before, I naturally gravitate toward films,
Of course.
over series, and not that I don't like series in general. Like, you know, some of my favorite Star Wars is like Mandalorian. Like I find Mandalorian super
it's interesting
fun.
how that
I love
property
watching
is
it with
shifted.
my kids and everything. Yeah. But I do like the experience, even if it's for a long time, like extended edition Return of the King, 4 hours, 20 minutes.
Yep.
Like even that, like I want to sit down, go on one big, long, epic journey.
Sure.
Like there's something about that experience that I love.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So yeah, I'm curious to see, very curious to see what happens with War of the Rohirrim. Of Gondor, brings up a good point. Competition is nice, but don't you want all of the content to make one cohesive story / universe?
This is a tricky question because I don't want an MCU for Tolkien.
Yeah.
I think if you stick to the themes of Tolkien, it will feel like a cohesive universe on its own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you have to have like a,
Right. Like if everybody's doing a good job at it, then it'll all
Yeah.
feel like Middle Earth.
Especially if it's like
regardless.
sporadic, time periods, different
Yeah.
locations and stories.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has to, like I know it's probably not what you're saying, but I'd be like, I almost feel like we're like building up to a Thanos or something.
Yes. Or like
Yeah.
constantly referencing the next
Yeah.
the thing, like I don't know if it's quite this extreme, but I've seen the commentary that like the movies are just a commercial for the next movie kind of thing.
A lot of times, yeah.
And sometimes that's the case, like especially, like the post-credit scenes become like a big thing where,
Yep.
all it is advertising. And like so many movies, anymore, they seem open-ended at the end to just like try to rope you into the next one. Yeah. So, but like Keaton said, if everyone's doing their job right, then it'll feel like a cohesive, even if they're told
Yeah.
in different ways, like animated versus live action or series versus films. Yeah, you've got thousands of years to play with, especially if
Yeah.
Silmarillion ever comes on the table.
That's true. That will definitely be a news breaking day.
But I mean, shoot, I would not mind at all. Like, how crazy could you imagine a scenario where Warner Brothers, because they have the same rights, as far as I understand, they have the same rights that Amazon has essentially. They have The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, and the appendices.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine if Warner Brothers comes out and says, "Yeah, we're gonna do our own Second Age,
Yeah.
and we're gonna do it in a trilogy of movies." Like, it would be like it would be chaos for one. Like my job would be infinitely harder because I'd be breaking down movies and TV shows and explaining the differences and like why this one is different from the text for these reasons and this other one is different from the text for these reasons.
Right.
Like, it would be a mess and it would be crazy.
Yeah,
But
especially
it would be kind of
yeah.
one of those like, folks who kind of root for chaos in situations like this would definitely get their chaos.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be a good case, a prime example of like healthy competition.
And maybe
Yeah.
not at the same time. Maybe I should specify. But like, say, Rings of Power runs for the next 7 years or something.
Yeah,
And then like 2 years after that.
Gosh, that would be so quick.
or 5 years after that.
Yeah.
I don't know. So maybe it's down the road. But like, it's an intriguing possibility in my mind. If like that competition thing, like I said, for those who root for chaos, like it would be chaos.
And you'd still be getting content.
It would be entertaining. It would be entertaining chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, especially if it was like the original trilogy, the Peter Jackson team. That would be something.
Oh my gosh.
Don't think that would ever happen, but that would be.
I doubt it.
That would be wild.
I think we said this last week. Like, I would love for Peter Jackson to get an opportunity to do, whether it's a standalone film, maybe a standalone film, so it's not like this crazy 10-year commitment, but to be given an appropriate runway of pre-production that he clearly wasn't given with
100%.
And to do Middle Earth, kind of just have a one-off film. Like, I don't know. I'm like Angmar War or something. I don't know. Angmar War might take more than one film.
Yeah.
But yeah, like think of something comparable to War of the Rohirrim, where it's like, all right, I'm going to tell this one isolated story. And yeah, I don't know. It's
No,
it
I
like
agree.
there's some exciting possibilities actually. Like there's some cool stuff in the appendices throughout the Third Age that Warner Brothers could jump on and make a film of. It'd be pretty cool.
It's kind of, yeah, I mean, even they could do the appendices like they do Tales of the Jedi,
Yeah.
sort of an anthology series, very
Although
one-offy.
and those were very short too.
Yeah, obviously
Tales of the
not
Jedi.
15 minutes
Yeah.
long, but
Right. Yeah.
maybe, I don't know, an hour, even then. But I guess it really depends on which part of the appendices we're talking about here.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know.
Oh, the kin strife. That'd be a good one. And like we've said,
That
the
would be a good one.
Aragorn thing, the young Aragorn thing, like there could be.
Yep. I mean, that is what the show was going to be originally,
Yeah,
the
the
Amazon
Amazon
show.
thing. Yeah. That
Was
was
young
one of the
Aragorn.
ideas. That was one of the ideas that really caught fire. Like there was a while where people were saying like this is what's happening as a young Aragorn show.
You have to wonder if that would have
one of the
been
options.
as controversial.
Yeah, I don't know because again, you'd still with a young Aragorn, you'd still have to you don't have the dialogue for the vast majority of it, so you still face a lot of the same hurdles.
Yep.
Now, like a lot of things are in the execution, obviously. When it comes down to the writing and like, does the writing sound, Tolkienian?
Shout out to the Hunt for Gollum fan film years ago, but that's still an interesting time period to me.
Yeah.
So
Jess says, I want to see Peter Jackson's take on Doctor Who.
I to a lot of people's annoyance, I haven't watched Doctor Who ever.
I actually haven't either.
So I'm sorry.
We're
really
both
am.
a disappointment for you guys.
You will not find a lot of Doctor Who talk over here, but I definitely respect. I mean, it's gone on forever, so
yeah, it's like what's the entry point? Maybe you can tell us that, Jess. Like, what's the entry point? What's the on ramp for people like me and Keaton? Because
ignorant.
It seems pretty daunting, guys.
I mean, like I remember when Matt Smith was the Doctor, and David Tennant and all that, but like, can I just jump in anywhere? I don't know.
See, now I'm getting mods commenting both in the live chat and in our mod Discord messages. So for the people watching and in the live chat right now, the moderators are hounding us in the mod chat about not seeing Doctor Who. I'm sorry, guys. I know that Radagast guy, Sylvester McCoy, was like one of the old school doctors.
Really? See, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Oh yeah.
I haven't looked up. I haven't studied the Jackson films through the Doctor Who lens. So
oh well, there you go.
I know Dalek. I know what a Dalek is too.
But they want us to start
exterminate
with the new Who's.
The new Who's.
The new Who's.
Man, yeah, people really are.
Yeah, they're really fired up.
Responded to Doctor Who. I'm sorry. I really am sorry.
I think their hopes are just dashed because they were hoping we'd do a spin-off YouTube channel of like, I don't know, of Doctor Who, a nerd of Doctor Who.
Oh, Dr. Nerd
or something. Dr. Nerd, yeah. Sorry guys, that's not gonna happen. My bad.
Yeah, I'm sure. I couldn't even tell you a Doctor Who channel, but if one were to exist, I would say go watch it.
Okay, so a lot of people are saying start with the new Who, and Higgy's saying he's gonna send us a list. It sounds like
the new Who. What is this? Dr. Seuss, Whoville?
Yeah,
probably make people
nerd of the Who.
Nerd of the Who.
But then will people?
The Who is a band.
Yeah, that's a band, guys. Not to be confused with the Guess Who, which is also a band.
Yeah. What do you want me to do? Give you obscure The Who facts?
Yeah. Time nerd. Guys, these are great names, but
it won't happen.
Yeah.
It won't happen ever.
There's no way that I'm going to attain enough knowledge to do such a thing. We've got our hands full with the the spin-off Star Wars channel that we're working on.
Oh, that's just dropping that there, huh?
I'm just dropping
Okay.
that there.
That's going to be like a very quick clip that you either caught or you didn't.
You
And
did-
I'm not
either
going to
caught or
mention
you
it again
didn't.
until it's time. You just caught me
Iggy
off guard
says,
there.
"Shh." Yeah.
I just
What now?
like, I blinked. Yep. No.
All right.
Nothing to
On
see
that
here.
note, guys,
Nothing to
Keaton
see.
and I are gonna go watch some Doctor Who. Apparently,
Yeah, clearly.
David Tennant was in Harry Potter. I did know that actually.
Actually,
and-
David Tennant is also back
he's-
now as Doctor Who.
Yeah,
I know that. I know that
I did catch that on the Twitter.
on the Twitter.
So yeah, I saw someone tweetering it. So
Yeah.
all right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for tonight. Next week, like I said, we'll have an interview with Mr. Brian Sibley, who wrote The Fall of Númenor. And upcoming here in the next couple weeks, we'll have Bear McCreary to talk about his composing work. And hopefully by then I've got a chance to play some God of War Ragnarok. So maybe we'll throw a little
Sweet.
question toward him about God of War. Yeah. In the meantime, if you maybe you think you might have heard something, I don't know, you might find something in the channels list on the main page of Nerd of the Rings. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, guys.
Yeah, we could take a
Keaton,
peek.
as always, thanks for joining me tonight.
Of
It's
course.
been a pleasure. All right, guys. We'll see you next time on Nerd of the Rings.